Welcome to Beckway Balance, where we bring you insights and voices from Perth's accounting frontline. I'm Nadene Lewis-Laing, and together we'll unpack the stories, the challenges and the wins that define accounting careers right here in WA. Welcome to Beckway Balance. I'm your host, Nadene Lewis-Laing, founder of Beckway Professionals. Today's guest, Amanda Tirtadinata, spent 17 years building her career in one organisation while balancing leadership, family and motherhood and stepping into partnership. After some open conversations at home, she decided to back herself and make the move into a director to partnership opportunity at KPMG. In this episode, we talk about that transition, changing firms at a senior level and her niche expertise in R&D tax. What it is and what it really takes to succeed. Amanda, welcome to the show.
Hi, Nadine. It's a pleasure to be here.
Likewise, thank you. Thanks for joining the show today. So, Amanda, before we dive into your journey, let's start with R&D tax because it's misunderstood by a lot of accountants. In simple terms, what is R&D tax and why is it such a valuable area of specialization?
Yeah, excellent question, Nadine. That's a good place to start. So the Research and Development Tax Incentive is a Commonwealth government's flagship program that provides tax offsets or cash refunds for companies that conduct eligible research and development activities, helping reduce the cost of innovation and incentivize companies to develop new ideas, process, and technologies. So it's a valuable area of specialization because what we do is we help organizations improve their cash flow, lowers the financial risk that's associated with R&D investment, and making innovation more commercially viable, especially for growing and technology-driven businesses.
Right, okay. It sounds very technical. That's fantastic. No, good to
It's
hear.
good fun, technical but good fun. Yeah,
I
we'll get on to
know.
that.
Yeah, I get a lot of, especially like graduate accountants, ask me about like, the different niches within tax, and there's just so many. So R&D is one that's quite exciting as well. So I do mention it a lot to accountants looking at different career options. So that's great. Thanks for the explanation on that. So that leads me to my next one. So how did you first find your way into R&D tax? And what was it about this space that kept you engaged and wanting to go deeper?
Yeah, honestly, Nadine, it was by chance that I landed into R&D tax. So I had not heard of R&D tax before, but when I interviewed for a role in tax in my penultimate year of an accounting degree, the interviewer noticed that I have a science background and
Okay.
suggested I should apply for vacation work in that area. Look, mind you, this was the early internet days, I have to say, a few decades ago, where information is probably not as freely available. Even though I fell into it by chance, but I remained in R&D by choice, right? R&D tax for me is the perfect intersection of my science background and my accounting knowledge. We get to geek out by talking deep technical and learning about new and interesting R&D projects from companies and organizations. And at the same time, we get to deliver impactful cash and tax benefits to the business. So that's just the perfect balance for me.
Yeah, that sounds really exciting, definitely. That uses all of your skill sets, the geeky side and then the technical accounting side as well. So there you go.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So for accountants listening who might be curious about this area, what skills or traits do you think are essential to succeed in R&D tax beyond poor, I guess, pure technical
Mm.
ability?
Yeah, no, that's right. So the technical ability, obviously, as I mentioned before, science, accounting background or engineering background comes in handy, as well as because at the end of the day, R&D is still part of the income tax return. So understanding law, legislation, and tax do come in handy from a technical perspective. But from a skills and trades perspective, I've narrowed this down to about to three, basically.
Okay.
So one, yeah, curiosity, communication skills, and a commercial mindset. So
Okay.
I'll delve into that a bit more. As part of our role, we interview engineers, scientists, software engineers, very, very smart people, right? So curiosity really help drive the questions and drive our thirst for knowledge effectively because we have to be interested in what they do to be able to then understand and ask the right questions. Now, after that, we also need to translate the complex technical work into clear narratives for the regulators. So communication skills and ability to articulate how the projects and the activities meet the eligibility criteria is also very important. Now, and then finally, commercial mindset, understanding the client's business models and growth strategies and helping them to identify opportunities for additional value, such as government grants, which is another area that we also help companies with. Structuring to better structuring of the organization so that they can leverage on a lot of these incentives that's available for them, and also process improvements. These are ways that we can continue to add value to the organization. So as well as balancing compliance, risk, and commercial outcomes. So those three: curiosity, ability to ask questions, communication skills, and then a commercial mindset.
That's fantastic. I'll definitely be sharing that with accountants that are curious about the space. So thanks for telling me that. So you spent more than 17 years building your career in one organization. What did that long-term journey give you professionally and personally? And how did it shape your identity as a leader?
Yeah, it makes me sound really old, doesn't it? 17 years. Yeah, very old and ancient. I don't think anyone does that anymore. Look, but really, I truly appreciate the time that I spent with that organization.
Mhm.
The time there gave me a solid foundation to propel my career forward. So I was fortunate enough to have great friends and team members who continue to be part of my support network to this day. Mentors and leaders that I was able to learn from and aspire to be, good and bad examples. So you have to take it all into account.
Yeah.
So people that I aspire to be, and maybe some traits some traits that I probably don't want to aspire to be. And learning and development opportunities, there's plenty. Training and exposure to clients from different industries. I think what really shaped my identity as a leader is probably the diversity in people, clients, and problems that I got to experience over those number of years.
That's fantastic, Amanda. Honestly, I think going into a company and just being a sponge and learning the best traits and the best skill sets from all the different talented people around you,
Mm.
honestly, it helps you progress as well a lot quicker as well in your career.
Yeah,
Very
yeah. And
good.
then probably that's also one of the things that when it comes to longevity and why I stayed with that organization for so long, because even though I didn't feel stale, like it was because of the diversity of problems that I got to deal with and different people that come and go through the organization, I was still able to continue to learn and find new things every day.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I'm so glad to hear that. So when I first reached out to you initially about the opportunity at KPMG, you weren't actually looking. In
That's
fact,
right.
I remember, so I was speaking to all different industry leaders in Perth, and your name was recommended to me by five different experts in the industry, so very well acknowledged in the R&D space. So what was your initial reaction, and what considerations were front of mind at that stage?
That was such a compliment, by the way. And look, like to be honest, I think it's probably you, Nadine. Like the way you actually approach me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I normally, yeah, well, prior to our conversation, because like I said before, I was quite happy where I wasn't really considering moving because I thought that was going to be the place where I started my career and I'll end my career.
Yeah.
I think it was actually your approach, Nadine. So as you said, you actually did a lot of due diligence before you came to me. So by the time we had the conversation, I think you already have a good understanding of where I came from, who I was working with, and you've got a good understanding of the network and the industry as well. So R&D tax, like you said, is quite a niche area. Not many people appreciate and understand it. So that's one. Well done you for doing your due diligence.
Thank
And also, I think it's the way you approach that you listen and you ask questions. You make sure that it is the right time, it is the right opportunity. So
you.
you took the time. I think we had a few conversations actually, Nadine.
Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't just a one-off. Yeah, thank you for your patience. I think,
of
yeah,
course.
and perseverance. So I think, yeah, it comes down to probably the way you approach me with this opportunity.
That's really lovely. That's lovely to hear.
Mm.
Thank you. Thank you for
Mm.
sharing that with me. I didn't know that.
There you
Um,
go.
yeah, thank you. So, one of the moments that really stood out to me in your journey was the conversation that you had with your family before moving forward, because I know family is everything to you. So you took the time to talk it through, and then the support you received clearly meant a lot from your family, having that backing. Can you share what that conversation was like and why having that support made such a difference to you?
Yeah, it's it takes a village, right, to move forward. And my family, look, again, I'm fortunate and blessed to have a family that is there to support me all the way through and very active in my life as well. And I was able to consult with my dad in particular, who was a professional all throughout his life, and my husband, who's also a professional, both of us juggling careers. And my husband just changed job as well that year. I don't know whether you
I
remember
remember.
that.
I do remember.
Yeah, yeah. Initially, when you approached me, I was a bit hesitant because is this the right timing for me? Moving to a brand new organization when there's changes already happening within the household. However, it was the discussion that I had with both my husband and my dad that pointed out, look, perhaps you should say yes to opportunity if it's the right opportunity, and and they also considered that the timing is right for me to just open my horizons and see if I can actually then learn new skills or propel to new opportunities. Yeah, that conversation was very important and very crucial to me determining to make the decision to take the leap.
Excellent. And thanks for sharing that with us. It's so important that, I guess, hearing your experience and getting other accountants to think about what's going to give them that confidence for the next step as well. At what point did the opportunity shift from, I guess, something just to think about to this feels right now? What gave you that confidence to move forward with the process?
Yeah, I took a little bit of your approach and thought I should also do some due diligence. So I did quite a lot of due diligence in terms of, even though I know quite a few of the people already that work with KPMG, and look, R&D tax is such a niche area. Yeah, you quite a lot of people and operators in this space. And I think we're all mates. I then went on to do a bit of work to try to understand a little bit more about the team that I'm going into, had quite a lot of conversation within the broader national team of KPMG. But I think the turning point, Nadine, is, and you also played a part in this. So because I will be taking on a leadership role with this organization and be in charge of growing the team, where I'm reporting to a national partner in charge, I thought it's very important for me to make sure that I have the support network in the local office and I'm able to also work together with the other directors and partners in the local office. Yeah. So you introduced me to Agnes Backer.
Yes,
I
I
hope she
did.
doesn't mind.
She's
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Mentioning her name. And so you organize a coffee catch up, at which point I was running late. Because somehow my bus didn't come. I had a hectic morning that day when I was supposed to be at KPMG office at 9 o'clock. As my kids were not cooperating, I was freaking out, waiting for the bus, and I gave you a call, and you said, "Don't worry about it. Agnes is great." You spoke to her, you mentioned everything, you explained everything to her. So I think I rocked up to my interview before I even got the job, half an hour late, sat down, and the first thing she said was, "You know what? Don't worry about it. I've got children too. Now, let's just take a
It's
deep
live.
breath." Yeah, it's life, exactly. Take a deep breath, sit down, and we just spent like the first half an hour just talking about life, and then we spoke a little bit about life at KPMG as well. Although that was probably 10% of the conversation. So
Mm.
I think after I finished that meeting, I knew that I this is the right environment for me. And if Agnes is a representation of that, this is definitely the right choice. So I think I gave you a call after that meeting to say, "Yep, Nadine, I think I'll take the job."
Excellent. It was music to my ears. And I knew once you'd had the chance to catch up with Agnes that she's such a warm, open, knowledgeable, and down to earth partner that, yeah, I knew straight away you'd gel with her very well. Yeah, I'm really pleased to hear that,
And
you were
yeah,
happy.
and continue to, we've got quite a good partnership over here within KPMG in WA. So very excited.
Excellent, excellent. So the next one's, I guess, more about like the transition that you made. Moving firms at a director and partner level is very different to early career moves. What did you find the most challenging and the most rewarding about transitioning from one organization to KPMG?
Yeah, the most challenging probably is in the role itself, because prior to this, I was part of a bigger team and perhaps more second in charge or someone that is more involved with the managing the engagements as opposed to leading the team. So
Yeah.
that is a huge shift and a huge change in mindset. The also the different size in team. So I was part of a team of 30 practitioners. When I came across, we had so with myself, it was a team of three. So obviously, that's a huge difference in size. However, since then, it the experience has then become the most rewarding to me as well, because it provided me an opportunity to really flex my leadership muscle, my I really have to tap on my growth mindset and build on my confidence so that we can continue to grow. So that has been most rewarding, seeing the team, the individuals within the team grow and become successful professionals in their own right.
Yeah.
So this year we are going to be a team of 10,
That's
going
fantastic.
from a
Yeah.
team of three.
A lot of
Yeah, so
growth.
five years in, and we're going to be a team of 10. So that has been great to see in terms of rewarding for my own personal
100%.
growth, as well as seeing how our team can continue to grow and also continue to contribute to the partnership.
Yeah, honestly, Amanda, like watching you just absolutely grow over the last few years and building the team as well and networking and bringing in new clients, like you've just gone gangbusters. You've done incredibly well. And I'm honestly so almost proud of you. Like you've just done
Thank you.
incredible
Thank
work
you.
there. So
Oh, look, it's always up and down. There's always up and down. There's always challenging times, but yeah, definitely having that, coming back to the support network that we talked about earlier. Support network within work and outside of work is very important.
yeah. So I guess I'm interested in once you stepped into the role. So once you joined KPMG and the partnership, what surprised you most about the role, whether in responsibility, influence, or how your time is actually spent?
What is, I think it was probably having been in the professional services firm for a long time, I knew what to expect going into partnership. However, it's nothing it's nothing like what you have observed. It's a lot more challenging but also rewarding at the same time. Challenging in the way that you have to really manage your time efficiently and effectively, because there's a lot of often conflicting priorities. You have to juggle between clients, internal meetings, team, developing team, looking at also balancing that with your commitment outside of work as well. So that's probably one. Even more, even though I came into KPMG already as a director, but as a leader of the team, partnership is different as well. And I think the other change in mindset is, as a partner, you are also an owner of the business. I think that's a crucial point that perhaps, I didn't quite appreciate until I became a partner. So you have ownership, but also it means that you have the responsibility to your people, to your client, and to fellow partners. So that's probably the biggest change
Mhm.
in mindset and also in understanding stepping into partnership.
Yeah, it's a lot of things to think about. I guess I see a lot of people moving from director to partnership level in mid-tier firms, boutiques as well. And there is a definite shift in responsibilities and what your day-to-day looks like and the expectations as well. So it's good, that you could share that with us. So I'm just going to reflect a little bit now. So I still remember when you called me to tell me that you'd made partner before it was officially announced. And we arranged to catch up and we went to dinner and we had a glass of champagne and we celebrated together. When you look back at that moment now, what did it represent for you, both professionally and personally, that promotion?
Yeah, the promotion. And I think, and part of the reason why I celebrated with you is because I truly appreciate the impact that you've had in my career. I think if it wasn't for our initial conversation and your persistence and perseverance at the time, I obviously would not be where I am right now. So I think that also one of the reflections, I suppose, is sometimes you do have to say yes when the opportunity comes knocking. Yeah. Even if you think, oh, the timing is not right, there's always, I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect time, but you should back yourself. And I acknowledge the impact and the importance of your role in this journey. Yeah. And what it represented for me personally is, and the reason why we had that celebration is also, I think, because I backed myself and I made the choice, even though it was a difficult decision, and persevered. It was truly a moment to celebrate just the culmination of everything that has happened and all the journey that we went through.
Yeah, it was a huge milestone. Like sitting there and just when you called me, I was like, I think I screamed when you told me on the phone.
I think you did.
Congratulations. So it's just
Yeah,
fantastic. I love hearing
yeah,
these stories of people progressing and they've reached, the almost the ultimate end goal is to become a partner as an accountant. To
yeah,
achieve
yeah,
that, not everybody makes that level. It's
yeah.
a certain type of person. So you've done incredibly well.
Thank you. And maybe, yeah, just another point that just came to mind. I think because I was with the previous organization for quite a long time, I was comfortable. I was ready to settle at a particular level. I thought, you know what, this is nice. This is comfortable. However, yeah, just reflecting on that moment again, I think that making that leap and really saying yes to new opportunities when you think things are fine and
Yeah.
challenging yourself is probably something that people should continue to think about. So even within the same organization, if there is an opportunity for you to have a think about, okay, so how can I challenge myself more? How can I continue to grow so I don't become stale? I think it's probably another reflection of this whole journey.
That's fantastic. Thanks for sharing that as well. But it leads nicely on to my final question for you, which is a bit of a closing
Mm,
reflection, if you like. So, if you could speak to the Amanda from a few years ago, let's say just before joining KPMG, the one who was weighing up whether to put yourself forward or not, what would you say to her now?
yeah. First one would be if you get a call from Nadine, pick it up because it's probably going
Perfect.
to be a solid opportunity.
Thanks for that.
But yeah, also, I think I'd say good on you.
You've done incredibly well.
Yeah,
Hats
yeah,
off to
I probably would
you.
say good on you on making that call, even though you had butterflies in your stomach. Good on you on speaking to the right people and, yeah, consult with the right people and, yeah, getting that support and making and taking the leap. So yeah, the investment has paid off.
Absolutely. That's brilliant. Thank you so much. Amanda, thank you so much for sharing your journey so openly today. It's been such a privilege to watch it unfold and to share this conversation with you. Your journey has just been such a powerful reminder that sometimes the biggest career shifts start with a simple conversation and the courage to believe you're ready. And when the timing feels imperfect, still go for it. So, yeah, so for anyone that's enjoyed this episode, please make sure that you follow Beckway Balance on YouTube and Spotify. And thank you for listening. You've been listening to Beckway Balance, insights and voices from Perth's accounting frontline. Follow us for more real stories and practical insights from Perth's accounting community.